The first time I saw Elias, he looked like a breeze could knock him over. Among the towering Valerian crew of the Zephora, he stood awkwardly in his crisp white uniform, holding a data tablet like it was a shield. His shoulders were narrow, his hands too soft for a battlefield, and when he smiled, it was with the uncertain grace of someone who didn't quite belong. I remember thinking, asterisk, this is the human the Council assigned to my command. A fragile creature from a backwater planet. It felt like an insult. Yet there was something about the way he looked at the stars from the observation deck that first night. While my crew saw targets, borders, and war routes, Elias saw beauty. He spoke about nebulae as if they were living beings, whispered theories about quantum life forms, and laughed softly when I told him such things were impossible. His mind danced in directions even our best scientists could not follow. And somehow, in that dance, I found myself drawn in. The others whispered behind our backs. A Valerian commander, strong, tall, bred for battle, and a human who could barely lift a phase rifle. They called him the Fragile One, the pet scientist, the weakling husband. I ignored them at first, but every time he stumbled in the gravity chambers or fell ill from the radiation fields, a part of me questioned my decision. He wasn't built for this world, for my world, but Elias never complained. He endured the taunts with quiet humor, sometimes even defending those who mocked him. When an explosion ripped through the engineering bay during a reactor test, he was the first to dive into the smoke, sealing a rupture with his bare hands before anyone else moved. His palms were burned, his lungs scorched, but when I asked him why, he only said, because I was closest. It's no grand speech. No dramatics. Just that simple truth. That night, as I sat by his bedside while the med drones repaired his lungs, I realized how wrong I'd been. His strength wasn't in muscle or armor, it was something deeper, quieter, and infinitely harder to break. And though I didn't know it yet, the weak human I married would soon face the kind of darkness no Valerian could withstand. The Zephora drifted into the nebula like a lone ember swallowed by smoke. From the command deck, the view was breathtaking. Tendrils of violet gas curled and twisted against the darkness, glowing faintly with an energy that made my skin crawl. We had entered the Veil of Sorrows, a region few dared to map, and none had ever escaped. I had planned a quick scan and withdrawal, but as soon as we crossed the event boundary, our systems began to fail. The stars outside vanished, and an eerie static filled the bridge. Commander. Long range comms are down, reported First Officer Wren. All frequencies jammed. His voice was tight with unease, a rare crack in Valerian composure. I ordered a diagnostic, but the ship's AI Vera flickered on the display. Her usual crisp tone distorted into low, echoing murmurs that chilled the air. Then, symbols began scrolling across the main console. Alien. Jagged and pulsing faintly like a heartbeat. Elias appeared at my side, his eyes catching the glow of the symbols. He didn't look frightened. He looked fascinated. "This isn't random," he murmured, his fingers dancing across the interface. "It's language, a recursive code, maybe even a consciousness trying to communicate." The crew exchanged wary looks. To them, this was madness. The nebula was known to devour ships through gravitational storms and plasma bursts, not by whispering in alien tongues. I told him to step back to let the engineers handle it, but he only smiled faintly. "Trust me," he said. "I've seen something like this before back on Earth." It startled me more than the ghostly lights outside. Earth had no record of contact with entities like this. Still, I watched as he began rewriting fragments of the code, muttering calculations under his breath that made no sense to my scanners. The moment his hands left the console, the ship trembled once, then twice, and stabilized. The static vanished. For a long moment, the bridge was silent. Then the lights dimmed, and Ver's voice returned, clear and calm. "Threat suppressed," she said, as if nothing had happened. The alarm screamed through the corridors of the Zephora. Outside the viewport, the nebula boiled with motion, thousands of silver specks darting through the violet mist, converging like a swarm of metallic insects. "Biomechanical entities," Wren shouted, his voice sharp over the chaos. "They're breaching the outer shields. The ship shuddered under impact. Sparks rained from the ceiling as plasma conduits overloaded. I barked orders, directing weapon fire, evasive maneuvers, shield redirection, but it wasn't enough. For every drone we destroyed, 10 more appeared. They moved with intelligence, coordination, and purpose. Something was controlling them, something vast and unseen. Elias appeared on the bridge, his face lit by the emergency lights. "Stop firing," he said, his tone calm but urgent. "You're feeding it." I spun toward him, disbelief flashing through me. Feeding it. They're tearing through our hull. He met my eyes, steady and sorrowful. "It's learning from every shot you take. It's adapting." He turned to the console, pulling up the alien code we'd intercepted earlier. "This isn't just a swarm. It's a networked consciousness. The nebula itself is alive, and it's defending itself against what it perceives as an invasion." My crew froze, confusion rippling through them. "How do you know that?" I demanded. His hands hesitated over the console. "Because I helped design something like it," he admitted quietly. "Back on Earth, Project Prometheus. We tried to build cognitive link networks that could merge human minds with artificial intelligence to fight wars faster. It's smarter. But we failed. It drove people insane. I walked away before it consumed us all." Oh, it all made sense. His strange calm, his understanding of alien signals. I realized then that Elias wasn't just a scientist. He was a survivor of humanity's most dangerous experiment. He looked at me one last time before placing his hand on the main neural interface. "I can reach it," he said softly. "But I'll have to connect with the ship's AI directly, override the barriers." I stepped forward, grasping his wrist. "You could die," he smiled faintly. "I'd rather die saving you than watch another world fall." Before I could stop him, he linked his Elias's body, convulsed as the neural link surged with light. Threads of energy snaking across his temples like veins of fire. The entire ship trembled. Ver's voice fractured into overlapping tones, half human, half machine, echoing through every corridor of the Zephyra. The swarm outside froze in perfect formation, their movements stilled as if time itself had paused. My crew stared at the monitors, helpless, as the readout spiked beyond measurable limits. "Elias," I shouted, but his eyes were no longer seeing. They glowed faintly, unfocused, reflecting the shifting colors of the nebula. Through the comms, I heard his voice, distorted, layered, infinite. "I can see it. Lyra, the hive isn't evil. It's scared. It thinks we're part of the infection that destroyed its world." The bridge fell silent except for the hum of the reactors. Ilias's mind had gone where no human, no being, should have gone. He was navigating the swarm's collective consciousness, a labyrinth of thought and memory stretching across light years. The alien intelligence struck back, tendrils of energy probing through the ship, trying to break him. He didn't fight with weapons. He used understanding, reason, empathy, the same quiet strength I'd once mistaken for weakness. Minutes felt like hours. The nebula's glow intensified, then flared blindingly bright. The swarm began to scatter, their silvery bodies disintegrating into stardust, as if released from a long torment. On the monitors, the alien code unraveled into pure light, and Ver's voice softened into a whisper. Connection complete. Threat neutralized. When the light faded, Elias collapsed. I ran to him, cradling his limp body as the ship's hum steadied once more. His breathing was shallow, his pulse fragile. For a moment, I thought he was gone. Then his eyes fluttered open, hazy but aware. "Did we make it?" he whispered. I could barely speak through the lump in my throat. "You saved us. You saved everyone," he smiled faintly. "Guess I wasn't so weak after all." And his eyes drifted closed again, peaceful this time. Around us, the nebula began to clear, revealing stars, real stars, shining bright beyond the void. The Zephyra sailed forward, and I held the man who had proven that strength wasn't born in muscle or might, but in the heart that dares to reach across the darkness and understand it. Consciousness with Vera. The lights flared. The ship roared, and Elias screamed as the swarm turned toward us. as if sensing the birth of a new mind among the stars. When I turned to Elias, he was pale, sweating, and trembling but smiling. "Told you," he whispered. "Sometimes the universe just needs someone to listen." And in that moment, I began to fear that my gentle human might not be ordinary at all.